that phone.
It's about transition and you peak.
But that chick you talking about doing that thing for Tamu, she on the right path because Tamu is on the up and coming. It's definitely on the up and coming. All right, feeling good, feeling good. So sorry, man. I thought I had time to get some drinks and things like that, but that traffic was kicking my ass too.
It be like that.
Mm-mm. Man, we can go ahead and get started. How's it going, guys? Vic Ashley and Dark Sparks Energy here for the story, not the fame. Bringing it one more back. Bring it back one more time with Spliffy though.
Oh, we all right now.
What they
right?
do?
Feeling good, feeling good. How you feeling?
Yeah, man, we just politicking.
Oh yeah. You know how it is. Like always, Cop One. First time on the podcast. How you doing? How you feeling?
Yeah, man, it's a blessing. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Well overdue.
Facts.
Everybody knows Spliffy, my brother, for real.
Facts.
So it's only right, and it's a pleasure to be here with y'all boys. Most definitely.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Man, you've been telling me as soon as you got here, you was telling me you guys knew each other since you was 11.
Yeah, around them times. Around them times, yeah.
Well, family lived down the streets. Tell me more about that.
So me and Charlie met at New Renaissance. When I left Florida Bible, because I went to Florida Bible for a long time. And when I transitioned into the public school system, I went to New Renaissance, and that's when it was first built. And that's when I met this guy.
That nigga called me by my government. I was telling my girl when we was out, somebody called me by my name. I was like, bro, that nigga gotta know me. Like, you feel me? Because if a nigga called me by my government name, that mean I met you before, like, 9th grade. Because after 9th grade, it was like, nigga, it was just straight spliffy. Like,
shit, I'm still like, you
know
feel
what I'm
me?
saying?
Like,
So that's how you know
like
you
20
gotta
plus
know me.
years later, I'm still trying to like get the spliffy
Yeah,
shit
it's
in
hard
my
to get
head,
that
bro.
out,
Yeah, facts. 'Cause
Like,
niggas
to this
like
day.
hung out. It's a
Well,
different
especially
type
since
of
known
element.
each other for that long. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to get the.
Nah,
Yeah.
seeing niggas transition from boys to men.
Mm.
I think that's key because seeing from the shit that we was into from middle school to high school, shit, I thought I'd been in NFL somewhere.
Facts.
To seeing this nigga catch a charge early on, and just seeing the different dynamics to where like one of my other homies caught a charge fresh out of high school, and seeing where he's at right now, to where it's like it ain't stopped niggas' lives. It was more so just a hiatus. You know what I'm saying? So it's just ultimately for me, nigga, I think it's dope. You feel me? Seeing my niggas grow, like niggas that I still fuck with, niggas I'm still cool with, still got some type of relationship with, and nigga, whether we agree on everything or not, it's still some solitary among. So I think that's really what mattered the most, bro.
Yeah, most definitely, dog. You know, like I always been like big on loyalty. I know like that word is like easier said than shown, right?
Facts.
But as far as Charlie Spliffy goes, see, like that go right there. Can't get that shit out of my head. Like, as far as Spliffy go, Spliffy trusted me as a friend before I knew how important it was to be a real friend, if that makes any sense.
Nah, that's
you got your homeboys who you think is your homeboys because y'all play sports together or y'all grew up on the same block or all that shit, or because these might be the niggas that you fighting with every day and y'all getting in this shit every day. But then I had to learn that don't make somebody your real friend.
Facts. You shit.
Me, I made a mistake early on of seeking solace in homeboys, and I had to learn the hard way. You see what I'm saying? So when I backtrack and I recollect on my relationship with Spliffy knew better than to make certain choices that I was making early on with said friends. Right? We ain't gonna get into too much particulars, but he knows exactly
that's real shit.
where I'm coming from, because when shit started going left around them times, and we talking 9th, 10th grade, by the way. This is 9th, 10th grade.
Yeah.
When shit started going left, Charlie was all Spliffy was also one of said individuals along with myself who got singled out because of our choices and our decisions. We like pick and choose our battles the right way. We still came from families of love that taught us better than to be engaging in certain shit. You know? But there was times that we stumbled. Learning to be men, right? So like amongst everything, a lot of them niggas not even like I don't even like I can't talk on behalf of a lot of them niggas right now. Some dead, some locked up, some probably crazy somewhere.
And some just not around.
You know, you don't like when I think about the crux of them, of like those said individuals, and Charlie knows every last one of them I'm talking about right now, bro. It's like it like the story either ended already, ain't end well, or it's on a trajectory of not ending well. Versus individuals like me and him, we, even on our worst days, we still trying to figure out a way to do better today than we did yesterday.
I told one of my homies, Trill, I told him a week ago, he called me in the morning and he was just venting, and I told him, I said, bro, the streets was a choice for us. It was never forced. And when I say, bro, we grown enough till we could be honest. Like, nigga, we was thugging by choice. We didn't have to, nigga. Like, nigga, we was going outside intrigued by this street shit. Like, nigga, we had families of love at home. Nigga, I still had the new J's, even when I was selling work. You feel me? It ain't like, nigga, I was doing it because I was trying to help my mama. Nigga, like, we didn't have that. We was just some niggas that was raised by love, like he said, on solid principles and morals. We just was intrigued like every other young man growing up in a certain environment. You sitting around certain homeboys and you start to get clouded by different things to where you start to lose sight to distinguish the real from the fake. And as you move over time, bro, situations expose that, bro. So I think that's what's dope at, bro. Like, I could sit back and see the transition amongst individuals to where it be like, okay, like, 10 years ago, I knew 10 years from now, he'd still be an individual I associate myself with. You feel me? And I know that because I just know how to be selective with the individuals I choose. You know what I'm saying? And then, like he say, loyalty's big. Nigga, teeth and tongue may fall out, but tongue need teeth. Teeth may need tongue. I've always been solid enough, and bruh be on the same type of time to where even if it's an issue, nigga, we could sort it out as men, nigga, and at the end of the day, that shit over with. We smoke a joint and we keep it moving. To me, that's what makes it solid. Cause it's like, nigga, iron sharpens iron, you feel me? And he's an example of, nigga, I call bro and be like, nigga, give me the last few 5-10 books you've been reading. Okay. You feel me? And I'm gonna take that same list
for years, bro.
And I'm gonna go tap in because I see that he's on a certain level that I may not even reach yet. You feel me? So I'm solid enough to where instead of me being on some sucker shit, let me go see what bro on, you feel me, to get even sharper so I can be on that same type of time. Because I feel like ultimately, bro, it's about being the best version of yourself as a man. And if you're not willing to sit amongst other men and get the game, it's like, how you gonna learn? I heard a nigga say on the podcast, the Bible don't say when times get hard, nigga, pray more. You feel me? It's like you supposed to iron sharpen iron. You sit amongst other men who, I look at that and I interpret that as me holding me accountable. Vic gonna hold me accountable. Capo gonna hold me accountable for certain circumstances. And ultimately, when I leave that setting and go back to my family, who I'm associated with, it's gonna make me a better man for them ultimately. So that's how I feel like if a nigga ain't associating with you like that in 2024, man, we shouldn't even be associating at all.
At all.
Like real shit, bro.
But I like the fact that you pointed out accountability. It's like, me and you have a conversation and I already kind of like know where you're going with it. Like that was going to be one of my questions. How do you guys feel about accountability for each other? But you answered that for me.
Nah, definitely.
So I'm just going to backtrack and do this a little bit more, going like a little bit historical from early childhoods versus right now situations. What's one character development that you would say that you had back then that kind of compares to a character development that you have currently?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my drive right now is more like tunnel versus back then I knew I had the world at my feet, you know, and I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. I'm young, I got time to do this, I got time to do that, I got time to do this, trying to master too many things. You know, 10, 15 years later, I got a son and and you know, like I also have like experiences, right? And like that's like a common like a common, what's the word I could use? It's a common thing that a lot of people don't relate in experience, you know? I was blessed to have certain experiences while also having other experiences that showed me that God was real.
Oh.
Right? That there was too many situations that happened in my life where my life wasn't in my hands no more.
Oh.
Right? So when you fast forward to now, me being here in front of you, and you know, like I know I might look how I look, but I'm grateful for breath. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the small things. I had to learn through my roughest of times the importance of gratitude, right? So when you fast forward to right now, where my focus is a lot more tunnel. I know what I want and I know what I got to do to execute it now. Like I'm not trying to get like distracted, trying to do this, trying to do this, trying to do that no more. I'm gonna master this. Once I master this, I'm gonna drain it, and then I'm gonna go master this.
Nice. But what do you feel about that timing though? Because that's the only thing that makes the difference.
Say again, I hear you.
From the timing. How do you feel about that timing though? Because your first character development growing up as a child, earlier youth, you had that time. You felt like you had time to do this and that. How do you feel about timing now?
Man, all time and no matter what we might want isn't on our time.
Ooh.
I can just do the best I can do day by day to give out what I receive and try to be the best version of myself and not try to think selfishly, and pray that through my due diligence and my perseverance that God's plan will manifest itself how it's supposed to be. But I learned a long time ago, when you try to do shit on your time, it's probably either not going to happen or crash on your time as well. So, you know, like back then I'm moving fast. Right now I'd rather move slow. I can't fuck up if I move slow. And the turtle always gonna win the race. So at the end of the day, like I'm cool with like, you know, falling back and watch life play out like a movie. People just X themselves out this. I'm cool. Like I've gotten to that point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. And to like double back on the gratitude shit, I remember me and him first like read The Secret at the first, like me and him read The Secret together. When I first learned about 48 Laws of Power, I put him on 48 Laws of Power. We like dissected that shit together. This is like, what, like 19, 20 years old?
Oh man.
When I first read The Secret, I was working at Panera Bread. And when the first one came out, you know, like you thinking like, you know, two dudes came into Panera Bread one day, me and DeMarcus working, right? Oh, you remember DeMarcus, right? Split? Yeah. We working, and it's these two dudes. I'm like 17, 18. It's these two dudes. They always came in, the black men, young but older than us, obviously, and they was always fresh, bro. Always fresh, and they'll always come inside Panera Bread and vibe. And like every time, you know, like they came in, they'll check on me, because like we always there, and like we look like them, right? We black men, right? And I remember one day he told me like, yo, next time I see you, I want you to have either read The Secret or watched it, because they also like had a documentary on it. And I read it. No. Like funny thing, like the girl who I was talking to at the time, she had the DVD but never even watched it. Just some shit I was collecting dust. What are the odds? Swear to God,
just
dog.
Hidden treasures. Just
swear to God. So like timing was like, okay. You like open it up, it's like law of attraction shit, and you like, okay, like if I think this way, then it'll happen. And I promise you, bro, when I got into The Secret, bro, my life went downhill. Everything went down. It's like God had to like, okay, like you want to understand like how this shit work, you got to understand how to like appreciate this shit.
Ground level.
God put me through the roughest time of my life. When the second one came out and I read the second one, the main focus in the book was gratitude. And that's when I like transitioned my thought process to even on my worst days, there's always shit to be grateful for.
Facts.
That's what you mean by really dissecting it.
Yeah, bro.
Man.
Nah, real talk.
He's my first homeboy. You probably heard me cry. And he'll tell you, I'm his first homeboy that heard him cry.
Facts.
So to go back to your question about accountability,
Yeah.
we learned at an early age that we don't got no choice but to take accountability for shit, whether it's on us or not.
I mean, that just came with, from me reading the stuff like you were saying, the challenges. The challenges that I face now is more so creating a stable environment that my daughter can prosper in. I feel like for the past 10, 12 years, I've been so busy focused on what I want, how I'll accomplish it. And I feel like for me, nigga, God was trying to put me in the headspace to be like, focus on what's important. And I think I'm a dope ass dad, but it's more so sitting down and creating an environment that she can flourish in that ultimately will pour back into you. And I think when I got to that headspace, I think I started to understand things a lot more. Always being hip. See, my situation was like, I became a dad by choice. I didn't become a single dad by force or anything. So it was just like I wanted to keep the structure of what my old boy did with me. So then seeing the dynamics of raising a daughter, it teaches me so much about a woman. Because it's like,
That's real, boy.
these are the same. There's no difference. They're just grown. They're more mature in their emotions. They have more going on. But the operating system and the inside of them operate the same. So when I started to pay more attention to that, it challenged me to be more cautious with my words. And if I learned it with my daughter, then it was just like being more self-aware when I'm dealing with a grown woman. And I think the challenge for me now is more so like balancing all that without sacrificing my dreams, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Women require a lot, bro, especially a child, whether it's your old lady or your child. Children require a lot. So being in a space to where it's more so like I've learned to how do you say it? Just wake up and be the best version of myself and try to serve their needs first. And then once I get them out the way, it's easier for me to take care of myself. It's like a formula. And ultimately, I can do it by myself. But if any man knows the power of the feminine energy, when the masculine and the feminine meet, that's like godlike. So to have feminine energy in your household, if you got enough sense and you know what's going on, nigga, you supposed to be utilizing that to your best benefit. So even if it ain't aligning the way it should, I was willing to take a step back to say, okay, even if I don't see eye to eye with a woman, I'd rather get on the same type of alignment, because at some point you can add value to my life in ways that I don't have because we're just two different genders. And once I started to understand that, I started to just be more self-aware. So it's like, it's one of them things where it's like, it was a challenge, but it's like, my daughter's 10. I've been taking care of her for a while now. So now I'm at a space to where it's like I'm growing mentally, and I'm understanding the dynamics of coexisting with a woman, knowing how to deal with emotions and knowing how to grind. It's like, shit, I heard a nigga say, once you set up a formula, it's like how business works. You set up a formula, you go off that formula. Once 9 o'clock hit, 9 o'clock to the rest of to tomorrow is my time. You know what I'm saying? So I utilize that now. It was like at first I didn't have a understanding of how to make it work, but then knowing that, okay, it still's gonna be here. It's like running away from a bill when you know you still gotta pay it. So it's like now it's more so like, okay, finding some type of structure where this can work, and then once it's structured a certain kind of way, then it's easier for me to kind of do what I want to do, and then coexisting versus just putting it to the side. Because then I don't want the child to deal with certain traumas that I may have experienced. You feel me? Because I think a lot of time as men, we overlook certain traumas.
Boy, I ain't gonna lie, boy. Fatherhood to do it to you, huh, man?
Yeah, because it makes you
Fatherhood
wanna.
to do it to
It
you.
makes you want to identify your traumas and your bonds so that your child. I know for me, I wanted to identify my demons so my daughter could avoid them. To be
Exactly.
completely honest, so I started, like I said in the song, I dealt with my demons so my daughter wouldn't inherit them. Like that was big for me. Like let me deal with some of this shit that I got internally, so that when I'm dealing with her, it's like she don't experience some of these things. And even being growing up in a single parent home, it doesn't matter how good of a father I am, she's still a statistic. So creating a family was so big for me. It was like it wasn't about outperforming her mother. It was about just making sure she still is able to see daddy love a woman the correct way, to see a woman love daddy the correct way. Because ultimately, bro, it's a village, bro. You feel me? Because a lot of times we get so caught up in I'm a good dad, I'm a good mom, so where you forget the fact that they still a statistic, bro. And we got to be honest with ourselves. So it's more so like creating a village, bro, to create better children, bro. And for me, that's important, bro, because it's like I want to live my dreams, but I don't want my daughter to be sacrificed in the midst of it to where she fall to the wayside, if that makes sense.
It does. Let me ask you both a question. And you mentioned one of them, not sacrificing your own ambitions because of having a child. Now, three, if you can name three for the both of you guys, top three challenges since having an offspring. Mind you, you named one already, not sacrificing your own goals.
Time. Time is important. I say time because children don't know an end to time.
Oh,
It's like you the closest thing to God to them. So it's like you they friend. They trying to kick it all day. They sleep with you. You at the house with them. You driving them places. They life don't happen unless you create it. So I think time, and I think finances, to be honest, that's a challenge because I feel like as a parent, when you become a parent, you want so much for a child. So where it's like for me, I want so much for my daughter. We sit and talk about Harvard and Howard and different things like that. So it's a challenge to make sure you're extremely disciplined to make sure that you can put up and set things away so that their lives are a lot better than yours. And it's a challenge to not get caught up in the self-gratification in the now. Because a lot of times we get caught up in what we want now, and that when we'll get it for our kids later, and later never comes. You feel me? So for me, it's like I'd rather take care of the jit first and then get me on the back end. And then I just feel like, bro, God gonna take care of niggas who do right by their children anyway. Straight up.
When I had when my son's mother, like when we found out she was pregnant, and when we agreed that we was gonna move forward with this, right? My mind went through like a roller coaster of transitions, a roller coaster of questions. Certain suppressed memories started to come back to me. Like I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was scared. And like I started going back in my mind and really trying to analyze all of my traumas, analyzing where my old boy and old girl went wrong at, went right at, what tactics were used and not used, right? And just pretty much, man, I knew for a fact that I didn't want my child to go through anything remotely of what I went through, right? I wasn't raised with my old boy. There's a lot of things I could say towards my old boy, but you know, I'm in a healing journey right now. So like I'm not gonna pop the nigga down. But I knew for a fact that I wanted to give my son exactly what I didn't have. Right? Now, where it doesn't translate is we living in a time to where a lot of people, a lot of women, let's just call space, a lot of women, they look at life through their experiences. They don't look at life through other experiences. They don't look at life for what it is exactly. You know what I'm saying? You have women who've been in one major relationship and it was probably traumatic, right? And every relationship after that is always going to be the PTSD towards that relationship.
Until she heals.
Well, you know, a lot of them say they heal, but in real life, oftentimes they don't really heal, right? And you coming from a place of, because you know, like, me and my son's mother, like, we ain't work out. Like, it is what it is. Like, it ain't gonna stop no show as far as me being the best available father to my son, but it is what it is. Like, I wish I could have changed that. Maybe more than she might have wanted to, for the mere fact of I know what my son deserves, right? I know what my son deserves. He deserves to understand and know how a black family is supposed to look, right? He don't deserve to have to go through trial and error like his daddy did. You feel me? That ain't work, right? When I dove out into that dating world, it was like shit show after shit show after shit show. Because, like, you got girls who they don't got kids. They don't understand what it's like to deal with a real nigga with a kid that's actually standing on business with this kid. Because a lot of these niggas have kids, like, they be showing them on like IG and shit, but they don't really.
They not 24/7.
They might be a father, but they're not a daddy.
I think, not to cut him off, I think some of the women problem is who don't have children is when you don't have kids, you automatically seek you first. You put you first in everything you do. It's you. Even if you taking care of your grandmother, looking out for a mom, you still seek you first. That's just like something you choose to do. When you have children, there's not a choice.
Facts.
You feel me? There's not a, oh, I'm gonna see if he ain't no. I'm gonna see. It's you gotta feed him. You gotta pick him up from school.
Facts.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I think people should step back and take a women, even men who don't have kids, who date women with children. We not just gonna say it's the women, niggas too, to be a little more understanding that, bro, this is parenting, bro. You feel me? And I think women aren't accustomed to seeing niggas take care of their children, like to the point where it's sometimes they want to compete with your kids. But I think more so it's one of those things where it's like the culture just got to shift. I think I seen some shit on Instagram today. It's 3% up that more black men are in their child's lives more than it's ever been in 2024.
Let's go.
So the dynamics is shifting, of course. It don't matter if the women like it or the men like it. I think when it comes to the black family, for me, being with my daughter's mother didn't stop me from creating a family. It just meant it wasn't gonna happen with her. And I still look at her as family. It's just like, you're not an individual that I'm with. When we first split, like I told you, we had our chaos, but I started to realize, bro, I was the alpha in the situation, and the dynamic is gonna move based on my temperature. So it didn't really matter what she did, as long as I controlled the narrative a certain kind of way, and started to realize women are just naturally emotional. I gotta maintain logic. So eventually, if you don't have anybody to dance with, you'll eventually stop. And as long as I maintain my principles and my morals and taking care of my duties as a father, you really have nothing to go off of. And then eventually the vibe came around. So then I look at it when I move forward to dating, I look at it like, I want me a wife one day. So for a nigga like me who want me a wife, I feel like my daughter just have a bonus mom. Like the type of mom where it's like, nigga, I want to see my BM happy to where, nigga, she could bring her nigga and I could bring mine, and we all at the fucking tennis matches and we hanging out. To me, I'm all about abundance and love, my nigga, because you can't want wealth and you can't want to build wealth in abundance if you ain't operating like that, bro. So for me, bro, I try to maintain like a pure heart. That ain't perfect, nigga, but it's just more so like, you feel me? Like I got a choice, so I choose not to be on no sucker shit. It's like if it ain't bothering me, it's not bothering me. Long as my jit good. My daughter said to me one day, "Daddy, mommy boyfriend took us to Target." Oh shit, that's what's up. Like, long as ain't no weird shit going on, I salute it. Cause it's just like one of them things where it's like we can't control women. We're dealing with our own trauma as men, and then I feel like ultimately for the children's sake, we supposed to grow from these situations. The dude who I was when I was with my BM ain't the dude I am today. You know what I'm saying? Because I dealt with my demons. I've had those conversations with my daughters like, why mommy ain't got the same last name as us? You feel me? But I was honest enough to be in a space to where I can receive it, sit her down as a girl, explain to her like daddy was in a certain headspace where I didn't perform the best the way I do now. You feel me? Me and mommy are past that. We're good friends. So we do what's best for you now. Versus creating chaos. And then introducing her to the current female I'm with now, so that she's able to see a dynamic of love in a healthy way, regardless if it ain't with her mommy. So it's definitely a transition when you merging and doing things like that, whether a woman got kids or don't got kids, or whether the man does. But ultimately, bruh, it's just really about being gentle, especially with girls. I'm pretty sure with boys. And just making sure it's the best fit for the kid, bro.
Now, I do want to double back because it might be a hot take, and it'll be a great segue into mental health as well, where you spoke about single women without children being a little selfish, which is pretty much what it is.
Right.
But would it be a little controversial because women are natural nurturers, regardless of having a child or not? It's in them.
Man, like that go back to the experience thing. You can't decipher or understand what you don't know.
Some can try though. Some cannot.
Some
know.
can try, and
but
like,
if,
some
like you
do a
said,
good
it
job at
goes back to the natural instincts to be a nurturer. Because you got some women who don't have children, but they're natural nurturers.
Yeah, fact.
But that ultimately, to me, that goes based upon the woman's spirit and the type of soul and the type of character she carries,
and her upbringing.
and her upbringing plays a role. Because if a woman has a warm, loving upbringing and doesn't have children, 9 times out of 10 she's gonna be welcoming. If she has a chaotic upbringing, she can still be welcoming. It just ultimately, to me, depends upon a woman. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Even if it's a hurt woman that's still going through that transition of healing.
You got women with kids, great upbringing, still hurt.
I think the whole hurt dynamic is that's a touchy subject, man.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's real, like, like it's like subjective and it's like discretionary. So
I think for me, I started identifying hurt when I started to deal with my hurt. Because I feel like as men, I started to deal with my traumas because when I got mature enough to know I wanted a wife, it was more so like, shit, let me deal with the certain demons and why I've had failed relationships. Why I move a certain kind of way when I'm dealing with certain women. And ultimately, my shit spiraled back from my past and the issues I probably shared with my mom. Not maybe getting enough attention. Maybe not spending enough time. Shit, my mom was a hustler, workaholic most of the time, to be completely honest. So I had to take a step back and be like, damn, I probably was yearning for that mama's love that I had never gotten. So then it's like, once I didn't see that in a woman or didn't feel those type of dynamics, it was like, nigga, the loyalty went out the window. So then it's like, when I got to a place where it was like, I can be honest enough to say, nigga, I never experienced feminine unconditional love. Like, nigga, my mom never really told me she loved me before. Nigga, my dad said that more. You feel me? My mom showed it in the things she did. But when you growing up and you a young nigga, you don't know that, nigga. You don't know love languages, nigga. You don't know, like, gifts is a form of a love language. When you a young nigga, you just thinking, like, I got the new J's on, yeah, you bought them, but I still want to hear you love me and have a good day. Like, so it wasn't much of that. So I didn't realize that affected my dating, nigga, until I got into therapy, nigga. So where I'm sitting back, like, damn, nigga, I'm walking around with a chip on my shoulder and I'm loving, but I'm loving with some type of guard because of the lack of things that I probably have gotten as a young man from my mother. Playing sports for damn near 12 years and my mom probably never coming to but probably one game. And not intentionally. Know what I'm saying? Like she was always working, so it wasn't like it was done like on some nigga fuck you type shit. It was just more so like I'm busy. But as a child and you're processing these things, you don't really it doesn't resonate with you like that. So for me, I started dealing with my trauma, bro, as a man, personally, self-reflecting on the things that bother me, having those real conversations with my mom, bro, to the point where it's like we're not, nigga, we ain't buddy, but it's more so like we're the same, we just the opposite sex. So it's like it's more so like it's a bunch of head butting, but it's more so like it's a ton of love because it's like I yearn for so much of that mom son bond to the point that it's no longer affecting me, but I yearn it because I want to cultivate myself to potentially be the best husband I could be once the time comes. And I feel like if you don't deal with no shit like that, nigga, I just get a woman and crash out because that's what I've done. You feel me? Crashing out, getting a woman, crashing out, and I don't really even blame the women because I feel like ultimately as a man, bro, she gonna mirror me. So if I ain't leading the best based due to my own trauma, it's like, how could I expect her to perform the best? Now, if I give you the best and you drop the ball, that's different. You feel me? So for me, I feel like I don't even blame any women from my past because I want performing at my best self. It's different for me now to where it's like I'm more mature in the decisions that I make, the things that I want as a man, to where it's like it's less fuck shit and friction going on. If that makes sense.
Now, is there something similar for you that kind of wants to lead you into the career path of psychology? Or is it something completely different?
Okay. I jumped into psychology. Okay, like psychology was my third major. I changed my major 2-3 times already.
What was the first two?
My first major, when I went to college, I went to St. Thomas University, and I was an international business major. Like I think I picked that because it wasn't a big array of, programs at St. Thomas at the time. I went to St. Thomas University for my first 2 years of college education because my mother used to work there. So I got to capitalize on those 2 years for free, even though I really didn't want to go there, right? Then eventually when she left, I went to Tally for a year, and that's when I was really trying to see what I wanted to do. And I fucked off that year in Tally, but I was taking little like prereq psychology courses. When I came back home 2012, I got into trouble. When I was navigating through the trouble and the courts seen that I had school records and stuff like that, that I was kind of like, okay, he ain't like just a crash out dummy. He kind of probably like just looked like he snapped, right? I didn't have no co-defendants and shit like that. I got locked up with armed robbery in 2012, May 16, 2012. And I ain't have bond, I ain't have none of that stuff. I had to file motions for certain hearings where the judge can hear me out, hear the family out, and we got bond. And through that, not only did I get bond, I got pretrial release. I was out on a monitor. Like it was rough. They allowed me to go back to school, and I went to Flomo, and I changed to political science because all the court shit I was going to, I was still like in that headspace. Like I wanted like to go to law school. I wanted like to be a lawyer. You feel me? But the more I was going to court, the less I wanted to be in the court. If I can help these kids, these men, these black men from tricking themselves into a position to be in the courtroom, I'd rather try to catch them quickly before that. And that's when I said I wanted to advocate in the psychology realm some way, somehow. Now, and like I ended up like graduating with my bachelor's in psych in spring 2016, and I'm currently in the process of admitting for my master's program, right?
Nice.
While I'm also doing an EMS program, right?
Oh,
EMT
nice.
program, because I want to be a paramedic firefighter, right? But like, fuck all of that. I'm just now dealing with my trauma. Like, literally. Like, I just started my own therapy last week.
Oh, wow.
And I've known that I needed to seek the guidance and the counsel for a long time. And if you know, it's not easy to take that first step. It might be for some a little harder and more complex for most. It was a little harder and complex for me, right? I got to the point to where I noticed certain ways about myself that I disliked, I hated, and I also hated how it would ruin relationships around me. You know? And at a certain point, when you've lost loved ones, family, certain type of shit, just off of like cutting a bitch off being a quick reflex because like, you know what you've been through already. You like, damn, like, I've been here before. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Situation in your mind
like,
before, you don't want to go through that same,
You know what I'm saying? I lived my life knowing how to operate through adversity so much to the point to where I got comfortable in adversity. And that would push some of the ones that love me most away from me. So I had to bite the bullet. When I realized that I was affecting the ones that I love most, that I knew I couldn't navigate through life without, and they were on the brink of like exiting based on my ways, I was like, nah, bro, like, this shit gotta stop now. And then on top of that, me as a father to a young king, there's times where I'll just wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or there've like been days where I woke up on the right side, but some bullshit threw me back on the wrong side. And then my mood, my anger, my pain would like indirectly bounce towards my child. You know, not in like physical or like abuse ways, but it's like emotional ways. Like, I might be like checked out for the day. I might just put him on the iPad and be like, son, just chill. Like, daddy just want to lay down. You know, like, I might be short fused, and like, he don't deserve that. He deserves the best me at all times. You know? So when I got to the point to where I had to be real with myself and be like, yo, bro, you're never going to be the best version of yourself until you really get a grip on these traumas, these triggers, your PTSD, these things that cause you anxiety and pain, the people you haven't forgiven, the people you've said you've forgiven but really haven't, the shit that like I haven't like forgiven myself for. Because I feel like as black men, there's a lot of shit. Like, we can like forgive everybody that hurt us, but there's a lot of pain that we've inflicted on ourselves that we haven't forgave ourselves for. You know? So that's where I'm at. You know? Like, at a certain time, it's like I want to be able to help people, black men that look like me, be able to overcome these things because I was able to. I've been giving the best of advice for years, but sometimes like it'd be hard for me to follow my own. Why? Because I'm probably going through it too. You know, like, but we always take on this role of trying to be the strong friend or the strong something, but then we don't allow other people to be there for us.
Facts, especially down here.
Man, yeah.
You know, like, and it's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. It's a conditioning thing. It's you know, like Charlie and Claudel, they was blessed to have both of their parents in the house, teaching them how to love, teaching them how to build that family structure. Me now, I've witnessed two men break my mother's heart. Right? So I try to dedicate my life to always trying to show up. And even though I got faults about myself, right? There's also questions I have about myself too, because it's like, I ain't never had my old boy I could just pick up the phone and be like, yo, Pops, I'm feeling like this, or how do I deal with this situation? How do I do this? I ain't never had that. I had to teach myself to be a man. It was a rough crash course, but I had to do it. I don't want my son to go through that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, I'm dedicating my life to breaking these generational curses, these things that it's like, feel like it's like the inevitable with our culture, you know, and trying to make it right, you know? So like, my goal is to, once I like fix myself all the way, then I can help others find a way to navigate through their pain and their traumas and their anxiety and their depressive thoughts. And you know what I'm saying? And
with it.
Feel more fruitful about life. You know?
Of course. And that's a great place to end off this conversation too. I got my fiance on the line. I was supposed to pick her up a while ago, and we got the next segment coming up too. Man, it was a great conversation. I really wish we could sit down and talk for 2-3 more hours. I really wish we.
No, we gonna follow up.
We definitely gotta do this again too.
We gonna follow up.
We definitely gotta do this again too,
bro. This is healthy. Like, you know, I was telling a friend of mine that, you know, like the first. So I brought up to him. I'm like, yo, bro, like, what you doing? Like, doing this podcast. You know, like, you the first one I'm gonna hit up. First thing, like, he think is like, it's like music related. Like, I tell him, like, bro, honestly, bro, music is the last thing on niggas' minds right now. This is some black male mental health togetherness shit that we doing right now. Something that's, you feel me? Something that's more, you know, more like substance. It's more substantial to what we need right now, bro. I'm not on no music shit.
The goal ultimately, bro, is to create space for niggas that look like us. Whether you grew up street, whether you didn't grow up street, the goal is just to create a space for niggas that's looking for the insight, the knowledge, leadership, cultivating skills that's gonna help you be a better man, whether it's finances, whether it's learning discipline, whether it's holding yourself accountable, hearing some shit on here that you probably ain't never heard of.
Or just talking.
So you can kind of learn game. I've gotten the most game from just by listening to my pops talk. So ultimately, bro, it's just about niggas letting their guard down and being vulnerable and realizing, bro, strength and vulnerability. And just, we grown now. We got children. Yeah, so if you're not trying to grow to be the best version of yourself for your child and you ain't hustling for your last name, then what you doing? It's that simple.
Shit, let me say this right before we end it off. And like, this is for everybody listening, right? Whether you male, female, whatever, bro. I'm just now getting to the point, and I'm hard body, bro. I keep a lot of shit in, bro. And like I said, I'm just now jumping on my healing journey for real, right? It's very important that we open up to our loved ones, to our friends, and we let them know, like, when we feeling certain type of way or when we not good. You know, like my cousin, like, who my barber, I had to tell him the other day, like, cuz I ain't good right now. I'm like, you feel me? Like, mentally, like, I'm not good. And it's like, before I said that to him, in my mind, like I felt like I had to say it. Like, I heard the thoughts in my head saying, bro, just like let it out. Like, you'll feel better. Just let it out. You'll feel better.
That's real.
And then I let it out, and I felt so much better, bro. So, for all the listeners, bro, talk to your people.
You know, let's tell everybody where we can find you guys.
I'm Spliffy though. SPLIFFYDOE.
You know, you can find me, you know, on Instagram _Capo226. Capo 226. CAPO 226. Ain't no gang shit. That's my son's birthday. So y'all stop asking me what gang I'm a part of. He's not on no gang shit. That's my son's birthday. See, there you go right there.
Vic
226,
Ashton, guys.
February
Dark
26.
Spark Energy here for the story, not the fame. Until next time.